Welcome back. This is step 3 in the 4-step process. Step 1 was getting your business or website ready. Step 2 was getting leads, advertising, getting people to contact you. And step 3 is about how to reply to a lead when somebody is interested in you. This is a really interesting step because not many people talk about this. Businesses are really dead set on getting people to contact them, but there's no real training on how to contact somebody back. And it's very important. Most businesses waste most of their leads, strangely enough. The research has been telling us this for a very long time, especially with bigger businesses. What's important is when you get a lead, don't judge it to be good or bad. Don't try and qualify people to see if they have money. Don't try and pitch them. It really is about helping people. For example, on social media, when somebody leaves a comment, it could even be a joke. Don't judge it to be having a go at you. Respond to everything in a positive manner with a positive conversation, because different people have different senses of humor. So when you receive a lead, normally it will be a digital email lead, research who sent it. So when you contact them back, you have talking points and you can understand where they're coming from. And also respond quickly. Yes, it sounds obvious. Most businesses don't really respond quickly enough. All things being equal, the first business to respond will win the sale. And the next step is probably the most important, is never respond once to a lead. Most businesses do this. They think, I've responded once and I won't respond again, mostly because they're employees and their job is to respond once. And you really do need to chase leads because people forget. It really is that simple. You respond to them once and they think, oh, I'll call this person back, or maybe I got that, and they forget. And the second point about responding many times is, in a strange way, people want you to chase them because it shows that you're keen to get in touch with them. And finally, on responding many times, as long as you're responding with a helpful attitude, people won't see you as pushy. And there's an important distinction here between the two words, persistent and pushy. Pushy is bad because it's trying to get something in the moment, trying to get money out of people now. Persistent is different. If you call back and you're friendly and they don't get back to you, and 3 days later or a day later or an hour, depending on what type of business you have, if you call again in a friendly way and you're helpful, that's persistent. That's completely different. And it's so important to be persistent. You can call back so many times as long as you're helpful, and you can never really annoy people as long as your attitude is helpful. And the next one is a strange one, which very few people do. If you do receive a lead, could you give that person a small gift, a physical gift? If they're close to you and you drive by that place, or it's not too far out of your way, if you can have some type of physical thing, a booklet, a present, something that's inexpensive, it's a really powerful way to be remembered. Imagine if you sent an email to a business and a day or two later in your letterbox or by hand somehow they gave you a little gift, you would remember that business for the rest of your life because nobody does it. When you reply by email, at the end of your email, always have a phone number and say, if you text me, I can call you back. People don't like to call other people. But if you say, here's my number, please text me and I'll call you back, this can be powerful because it's a lot easier to sell something when you use the phone. It doesn't matter if you don't like using the phone. You have to push yourself into this. If you have the opportunity to talk to somebody by phone, it's 10 times more powerful. And when you're replying to a customer's question, when you contact them, don't guess answers or ignore questions. This happens quite a bit because people get nervous and they think they need to say something, so they guess an answer or they ignore a question or change the subject. This not only is wrong, as you know, but if you admit to not knowing something and then saying to somebody, I'm going to get back to you, and you do get back to them, it's actually really powerful than just having a conversation, because people rarely get back to you when they say they're going to. So if you don't know something, it's actually good in a way, because you can be honest with people, and people really value honesty from people that sort of seem like salespeople. So there's no harm in getting back to people. Just say you don't know it and get back to them. And the final point on this interpersonal skills is, often people will contact you and you don't sell what they want. The point here is, be slow to say no. So don't lead in with no. If you need to eventually say no, that's okay. But there is no need for you to begin with no. Let's take an example. Say I'm a music producer. I produce songs, etc., maybe for TV, film clips, what have you. And you contact me and you want some type of musical thing made, and you say to me, I also want you to sing on it. Now, what I shouldn't do is lead in by saying, I'm sorry, no, I don't sing. Flip that around, start with a positive and say, yes, I can. So leading with a positive, yes, I can help you make that musical track. I have 2 associates I work with, a male and a female. I bring them in for singers. I don't sing myself, but I can bring people in to sing. So you're starting with the positive, the yes, and then leading to sort of a no. The problem with leading with no, well, the good thing about leading with no is it's honest, but it's what the customer is going to remember is no, and they hear no stuck in their brain, and then you might say, yes, you can, but what they're really hearing is you've just planted no in their head. So try and lead with a positive rather than a negative. So what we're doing here, summing up this whole step when we're talking to people, ultimately we're trying to have good conversations with strangers, and people just aren't good at having conversations with strangers. So really what you want to try and do is practice having conversations with strangers, and the way we do that is to take a risk in a safe space. So here's an example. The coffee shop that you go to every day and you know the people there, that's a safe space for you. So take a risk, and on a Friday, say to the barista, oh, so what are you up to this weekend? And they'll say what they're up to, or they might ignore you, but you've taken a risk, but it's in a safe space. And on the following Monday, you could say, oh, what'd you get up to on the weekend? So you're taking a risk in a safe space. If you buy a fridge or a washing machine, if it's $800, say to the salesperson, can I pay you $780 for cash? For some people, that's a very stressful thing to say, but you've said it and you've taken a risk in a safe space. It's safe because salespeople hear that all the time. Every third person that walks into that shop will ask them for a discount. So the salesperson really doesn't care. So if you take that risk in a safe space, and then you can build on that. So they might say to you no, and then you could say, oh, well, could I possibly get free delivery? And then you can ramp it up and become more confident talking to strangers. And also, if you want to learn how to talk to strangers, we have a gig where we get together and talk as a group. Details are on my website. Come along if you're interested. And the final point in step 3 here is, when you're talking to people, you're trying to help them. And if you do end up really helping someone with your information you give them, you could be on the phone for 10 minutes. And if at the end of the conversation you've really helped them and they're not looking like they're buying for some reason, you can actually ask that person for a review. You don't have to sell something to somebody to get a review. If at the end of the conversation they say to you, oh, wow, that was really great, you've been so helpful to me, hit them up for a review. Send them an email or SMS and show them exactly how they can review you on whatever platform you choose, and it's perfectly fine to do that. So all we're doing when we're applying is we're just helping people and then reaping the benefits. That's all. Have a great full day.